So hey y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed y'all Thanksgiving. As y'all can see, today is a lazy day for me. But I wanted to talk about The Beauty and the Beast. Me and my daughter watched it not too long ago, and I was like, man, this have a powerful message to it, and it's something that we go through um, every day. You know what I mean? If you really dive into it, and a lot of people familiar with it. Some people might not be, but it's a classic that a lot of us grew up watching it, and it actually just came back a few years ago. They redid it, um, but basically, it was about a prince that was fairly handsome, had a castle, had everything, a kingdom, had servants, had everything you can dream of. He was the full package, and the only thing about the prince was that he was damaged. He was damaged goods. Even though he appeared to have everything, he lacked something on the inside. And he refused to deal with it. So, a lot of times when we refuse to deal with things, things are put in place, or people and encounters come along to force us to deal with certain things inside of us that we don't want to look at, or we don't have the ability to look at. Now, so anyway, with that being said, this prince was having a kickback one day. He had a few people over during their party. A woman came, bust in, and basically, yeah, true enough, we can say it caught him off guard. This older woman, which they called her, deemed as an intruder, came in and offered him a rose. She offered him the rose. He took it and he threw it on the ground. She warned him. She said, looks can be deceiving. Don't be deceived by what you see. So basically, she was trying to inform him that beauty comes within. And just because I didn't come how you expected I should come, or um, I look different than you, or um, I caught you by surprise, you really shouldn't pay that any attention, and you should really, look beyond that. So she warned him twice. He didn't want to believe it. He didn't pay it no mind. He just, like I said, he took the rose, threw it on the ground, rejected her, right? So a rose is symbolic for love, right? That's what the rose was symbolic for, love. She tried to get him that, but he rejected it because it didn't look like it. It was foreign to him. Because sometimes too, when people think they have it all, or things supposed to come in a certain form, they tend to reject certain things. So that's what happened to him. We can, say he was caught off guard. We could say a few different things, the reason why he didn't get it. But even though he didn't get it the first time, she warned him, and he still didn't want to listen. So he had to get a hard lesson. So, with that being said, after she warned him, and he still rejected it, the love that she was trying to give him, the gift that she was trying to give him, it was something that she was trying to give him, or whatnot. He rejected it. So what she came as, she transformed into something else. And it was this light, it was this deity that she transformed into. And then when he saw that, oh, this ain't what I thought, he started to being apologetic, and she was like, nah. um she was like, nah, it's too late now. um so she cursed him. She transformed him to the beast. So basically, the beast was a symbolic for him, basically what was on the inside of him, on the what was on the inside of him coming up front to the surface, and become he ended up being turned into what was inside of him, right? So basically, when she turned him, transformed him to the beast, meaning now he can't hide who he is. Not only he can't hide it, but everybody around him has now been given the sight to see him for who he really was, right? Which can sometimes be embarrassing or whatnot. But had he not rejected it, rejected the gift that she was trying to give him, he could have avoided being turned into a beast publicly in front of all his friends and family, right? So a lot of times when we miss things, we end up getting a hard lesson. So basically, she transformed him, cursed him, right? It was a curse put over him and everything that he had. So everything became dark, right? The castle and everything just became, just covered in mold, and everything around him was put under a spell. So when something is cursed, even though it sounds so deep and so mystical, basically a curse is a cycle that has not been learned or has not been broken. Okay? So that's all it is. Ain't no need to get scared or get all deep about nothing. That's exactly what it is. So, basically, the test was, she told him that if you could learn to love another and earn the love of another by the last fall of the rose petal that she gave him, that he rejected at first, that the curse would be lifted in reverse, right? So she left, left him in his mess, right? So because of his inability to deal with him and who he was, it counteracted some other things, right? So meaning, because he couldn't humble himself, his character was tested, and when something is tested, a judgment come about. So meaning that either he passed that test or he failed that test, and whatever judgment will come will be whether you passed or you failed that test. So his judgment was being cursed, right? So he was put into a cycle until he learned his lesson, right? So anyway, after that, he lost everything after he failed that test. Lost his kingdom, lost his wealth, he lost his beauty, he lost himself, basically. So now, because he didn't pass that first test that was simple to a lot of us, I'm like, why? I mean, that's love. She came to you out of love. Why couldn't you take a freaking rose? What was that gonna do to you to take somebody's love? Somebody, and it can look different from different, people. Somebody's kindness, somebody being kind towards you, somebody trying to love you. Why is it that you rejected that? That you're too haughty, that you couldn't humble yourself, or that you was afraid of taking it because you felt like that you had it all, that you didn't need it. Or you felt like you had other options that was way better. You felt like, that rose was beneath you. And he was a fool and he paid for it in the end. So, like I said, that rose is symbolic, it's symbolic for love, but love can be different things. How people treat you, how they come at you. And my thing is, yeah, true enough, in his defense, you can't take anything from everybody, right? You can't. But it wasn't like that she gave him some crumbs. You can't eat from everybody either. She didn't bring him no cake. She didn't do that. She didn't bring him some rag. She didn't do that. But he couldn't humble himself to receive what it is that she gave to him. And sometimes we think we have it all, and we feel like we don't have to work on nothing. And then that's when sometimes God will come in and test you to see, can I trust you with this? Or he'll test you so he can see that if your character where it needs to be, so he can bless you or take you to the next level. And if your character ain't where it needs to be, then you will never have that kingdom, and you will never graduate to being that king or that queen, because you can't even handle the things of a prince or a princess, right? So going back to when he was cursed, right? So keep in mind, like I said, a curse, when you get all spooked out now, a curse is basically a cycle that has not been learned, okay? It's something repetitive. It's like a hamster wheel. Something you can't get off. It just keep going and going and going until you learn how to break that thing and deal with that thing. And the only way you can truly break a curse if you learn how to deal with what's in you. Because a lot of times we don't want to look in the mirror and deal with us. But it's time out for all that, deflecting, trying to blame other folks for things that's in us. You need to reflect and look back on your immaturity and your perception and your way of seeing things. Because his character not being right put him in a cycle. It put him in a cycle, and where he could have simply passed that test, it could have easily carried him over into another level, or he could have graduated to being a king right there. But yet, his inability to see things the way he needed to see it, to perceive things, and to humble himself, killed that thing and set a whole nother cycle that he could have easily passed. So, I'm gonna do a part 2 on this one. But anyway, so after that, he was cursed. So he was turned into a beast, which simplified, like I said, it was symbolic for us seeing him for who he really was. So now, after the woman left, they cursed him. Because like I said, you have to be careful what you're entertaining. You need to treat everything and every person in front of you as a test. Because it is. You just going through life, la 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 la, in la la land, thinking that you won't have consequences for however you treat people. And you do. Nobody might come and physically turn you to a beast. But I'm telling you, something has been done. It's been judgment. You might not have been able to see it, but something has been done to you, and you're probably so blind you probably don't even see it. But things happen when you do things. You reap what you sow. The souls that you sow, the seeds that you plant are the seeds that you will harvest. So that's basically a lot of it in a nutshell. So let me start this video over, and I'm going to do a part 2. So this is part 1. So